Joining us today is Melissa Easley, a proud CMS parent, veteran educator, and current District 1 representative on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Board of Education. With more than 15 years in the classroom, Melissa brings a lived perspective to policy that centers both student outcomes and teacher support. Her platform emphasizes equity, transparency, and amplifies the voices of educators. She has been a consistent advocate for safe, inclusive learning environments and has worked to hold the district accountable. Melissa believes in leading with heart, listening to the community, and ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education, regardless of zip code. Welcome to Voices of Resilience. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. We've been rolling this week. And this has been a busy week for you. But
Yes.
Before we get started, I want our viewers to know one fun fact about you.
I am a scuba diver.
Scuba diver.
I am. I love
That is
to be
so
under the
cool.
water. It's one of my favorite things.
I love water.
That is my peace. That's where I go to get peace.
Scuba diving. So what places have you scuba dived?
I have been in Hawaii. I have been several times off the coast of Florida. And I've done some wreck diving, but I prefer my reefs. I like to stay in the reefs and see the wildlife and hear the wildlife, and it's such a unique experience.
Listen, I love me some water, but I'm gonna leave the scuba diving to you because it's just like it's anytime I grew up watching Jaws.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I'm going to let them have their water and I'm going to have the land.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's when I first started college, that was my specialty, was oceanography. And so before I moved to education, so it's something that's always been near and dear to my heart. And it's a happy place for me.
That is awesome. And speaking of before you moved to education, where are you from? Where are you from and why did you go into the area of education?
So I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
I'm from
Chi-town.
Yeah, I'm from the South Side, and I would say the Western suburbs.
Okay.
I've split my time between there. My family's from the South Side, so I'm a South Sider. Dub Airs,
South
go
Side.
Sox. I got to get that in there. I love my Chicago teams. Well, it was actually a very interesting story. I wanted to go to college in California.
Okay.
And mom said, absolutely not.
Right.
So I went to Eastern Illinois. Actually, I got a technical theater scholarship to a smaller college. And that just wasn't for me. I needed a little bit more activity. It was a small college in Iowa. So I moved to Eastern Illinois and played Major of the Month Club for a while, trying to find something else.
Right.
And landed on education.
Okay.
And really kind of jumped in with 2 feet and realized how much I love it and how important it is.
Okay. So what area were you in when you were in the classroom?
I was in Charlotte. I was in middle school, but
Okay.
I am I taught
Middle school.
I taught 7th grade for 8 years,
Listen,
6th grade for
listen.
1, and 8th grade for 2.
For my middle school teachers out there, I am here for you. And middle school is a different.
It is a different.
It's like a whole different world from K through 5, and then you have high school, and then you have middle school.
Yeah, it's a different beast.
Oh yeah, it's a whole different beast.
I've been in 20 years of education. In 20 years of education, I have taught K-12. I was a co-teacher for the elementary school. I originally was certified in a high school capacity, and so middle school's my favorite. You got to be just a little crazier than the kids, but it works
middle
out.
School. It works out. The middle school is definitely built different. You have to have a mindset of this is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a student in 6th grade and they're so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
7th grade, oh, look at them. By 8th grade, you're ready for them to go. Yeah. You're ready, and they're ready to go.
One of my former mentors, who I looked up to very much and helped me kind of grow into who I am today as a teacher, used to say that 7th grade is disease. And they catch it the summer of 6th grade.
Exactly.
And they get all through 7th grade, and then they get over it the summer of 8th grade. And you're just like, I don't even know what to,
I don't even know who
we're just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
And some days they come in and they give you a huge hug and they're like, hey mom. I'm like, oh, Miss Easley. And some days they're like, why are you looking at me?
Yes.
And you just kind of get to go with it.
Oh yeah, you definitely do. It's something about them when they get to ninth grade, it's like they just calm down.
Yeah.
But that eighth grade year, it's like they want to fight everybody.
Yep.
Let's get into it. You have been a board member now for
3 years.
3 years. That's a lot, you know. However, how has your classroom experience influenced the way you approach your role on the CMS board?
Oh, it's probably one of the number one things I think about. What does this policy look like in the classroom? Remember, the school board sets the what. So we set the goals, we set the policy, we set what we want our students to be able to do when they come out of CMS. And so that is our goal. So when I'm looking at that, it's like, okay, this is what we want our students to do, but what does this mean for the teachers? Are we adding stuff to their plate? Because we don't want to do that.
Right.
Are we taking things off of their plate? Are we supporting them? How does this impact our teachers? Because we all know what looks good on paper doesn't actually work in real life.
Right.
And I have that perspective of having 40 12-year-olds in a classroom. And you need to figure out how to teach the word mitochondria to every single student, some that don't speak English, some that are well advanced.
Right.
And you have to think outside the box and you have to look at different perspectives. And I've gotten very good at that over a decade of teaching. And so that's how I look at our policies. Policies come down the line because I am on the policy committee. I reach out to my network. I reach out to the teachers. I reach out to the athletic directors. I reach out to our union and find out what they're thinking. What does this look like? Because while I taught middle school for a decade, I did not teach elementary school in Charlotte. I did not teach high school. And so if there's a policy that affects the high school, I'm going to go to the teacher because they're the ones that are going to have to deal with it, or the principal, because they're the ones going to have to deal with that. And I think that is a perspective that not everybody thinks about. You know, they think about what's best for kids and based on their narrative, stuff like that. But I know what it's like to put that policy in action. And I can think of different scenarios that, other people might not realize are part of teaching.
Right. And so what are some success or challenges you've seen in District 1 that you feel deserve more public attention? You know, District 1 is very personal to me. It's an environment where not only do I live, but my children go. So I want the person who's going to be in that position to be knowledgeable about the things that are affecting us specifically. So the successes or challenges you've seen?
Well, definitely some successes are we're getting the bond passed, right? We've got a $2.5 billion bond, and 4 of those projects are directly tied to North Meck.
Okay.
North Meck High School, Huntersville Elementary, and Cornelius Elementary are either right at or just shy, like I'm talking like 98, 99 years old. Those buildings are beyond compare. And they are run down because we keep adding new technologies to an old building. And so those 3 are getting brand new buildings. And that is something that I absolutely fought for, to make sure that North Meck was seen and was taken care of up here. We're also getting a brand new middle school to relieve some of the overcrowding. And those are all things that I fought for to get put into the first set of projects, right? Because this is going to go over a 10-year span. Right. But our North Meck projects are in the first and second round. Okay. And so I was really excited about that. Some challenges, I think, are our boundaries. I think North Meck hasn't had a boundary change or looked at, really dug into all the boundaries in about 11 years since Grand Oak opened. And so giving that opportunity to relook at boundaries, see where these neighborhoods have popped up. Oh, yeah. Because right now we have neighborhoods that are driving past one elementary school to get to another. Yes. And that's not right. We've got schools that are vastly overcrowded. We've got schools that are vastly undercrowded. And so something that, getting reelected on the next board, that is something I'm going to be looking at, because we are going to be looking at boundaries for that new middle school. Right. So while we're looking at the boundaries for the new middle school, I really want to dive into all of the boundaries to make sure that we have equity and our resources and our parents are all involved.
That's right. Because what I want to kind of touch on is the Charlotte is changing, and you have apartments, you have homes, they're popping up overnight, and where we didn't have crowded schools. There was a balance. Now they're crowded. Specifically, a situation that happened with Parkside Elementary. You worked with me on that as far as making sure the communication and all the good things happen. But going forward, I think that was a challenge for the community because I don't think that we were heard. I think that there were plans made and some things was already in the funnel, but we're working parents, so I just think that one of the challenges that I observed was the communication piece, the why piece, and assuring that our community, while it is transforming, because I was there when there were cows. Yeah. Okay, farms.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we have development that is booming. Okay. And that's great. But I want to also have booming schools in my neighborhood where I pay taxes.
And you absolutely deserve that. And every student deserves that,
right?
No matter where they are.
No matter where they are.
And, District 1 is so unique because we have the most individual towns, right? We have Charlotte, we have Huntersville, we have Cornelius, and we have Davidson.
Right.
That all have different ones. Huntersville zip code, the one that is right there, that first
That's
Huntersville
right.
code, 28278, has been the fastest growing zip code, or at least the top 5 for the last 6 or 7 years. It's been an incredible growth, and that is awesome, and that's amazing. Huntersville is rounding almost 70,000 residents. And yes, that is a reflection on our schools, which is why I want to go back to the boundaries and have more communication. I agree with you. Communication coming out of CMS has always been a struggle, not just communication coming out in general to the public, but to our employees as well. And that is something that I've really focused on in my time here, is making sure our teachers have a path of communication.
Right.
Making sure our parents have a path of communication. And that is why I started my newsletter. My first newsletter came out, I was sworn in December 13th, right after the holidays. My first newsletter came out. I go to local restaurants, places, and allow myself and tell the public, hey, I'm here. Come talk to me. And those Minute with Melissas, as I call them, have been a wide variety of someone coming to me and saying, I've got this issue, I don't know where to go, to I need help filling out this paperwork. Can you help me? Absolutely. Right. And so that's what I love about that, is I've gotten to really meet community members, and I want to continue to grow that. My newsletter is coming out with the data. I've been waiting for some of the data to still be released. So trying to get those communication pieces out and engaging in our public has been one of the number one things that I've been working on.
And that's great because along with communication, I think that preparation, for parents, for students is great. And so we've seen some academic gains this year with CMS. When we look at District 6, we still see some schools that have not made progress. What are the plans to make sure that those schools that are not making progress can get the support, the specific support? And we don't have to go into the particular schools. We know what those schools are.
Right.
And then we'll dig in just a little bit more, because I have a specific need when it comes to those. Most of them are Title I schools, but just because it's a Title I school doesn't mean it's a poor performing school. I want to make sure I say that as well. But these schools that are not performing well in District 1, what is the goal as far as providing more resources for them?
First, I want to say that, remember, the board sets the what. So we set the ending goals, right? And then we hand it off to the superintendent and her team and say, okay, here, you can do anything you need to do to meet these goals, except these guardrails. So that's what we give to the superintendent. And then she says, okay, I have to stay in these guardrails. I have to meet these goals. How am I going to do it? So she's going to put out her strategic plan. Right. And that is something I want to really shout out Dr. Hill. She has come up with an incredible plan to support these schools. Yes. Thank you for saying that a Title I school is not necessarily a failing school.
Right.
We have multiple Title I schools in our district, which people don't realize. Everyone thinks North Mac, they think Lake Norman, they think high SES, and that's not the case.
Right.
My child goes to Blythe. Blythe is a Title I school. And, so the plan there is to make sure that those teachers have what they need. They've got a master teacher in there to help guide them. The principal has what they need in order to support their teachers, right? This is a multi-layer approach.
Right.
And so making sure that they've got the resources, whether that's someone in there helping them, whether that's getting new teachers a mentor that can help guide them to learn their craft, because that's what this is.
Right.
Teaching is a craft. Or to make sure that, a veteran teacher who may not be teaching a new subject has a visual of an example class.
Right.
So Dr. Hill has actually had other teachers film their class to put into a resource for other teachers to use and see.
Right.
And I think that is probably one of my favorite things that she has done, because as a visual learner myself, that would have been hugely helpful for me as a beginning teacher. And she's also changed the beginning teacher program a little bit to be longer. It's 3 weeks now. And to really dive in and really get to the bottom and support these teachers and make sure that they feel supported as well. So that is all Dr. Hill, and I have to give all credit to her and her team.
She's excellent.
She has done, that has been amazing, Pete. So I'm really, really proud of that. I'm proud to be part of CMS. I taught for 10 years. My kids this is my 15th year in CMS.
Wow. It's a long time.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. So say for instance, because I know I have some parents out there who might be watching and they're having a problem because no system is perfect. No. Even with perfect ideas and policies and implementations, this is not a cookie cutter situation. So if I'm a parent and I'm having an issue with my child's IEP, or just my child in that classroom, and you are my district person, what are the steps? And I'm talking about protocol, just information, because a lot of times parents don't know what to do. They get angry. They get, of course, it's my child.
Absolutely. And you're advocating for your child, and as you should be. I want every parent in District 1 to feel safe to advocate for their child, no matter who they are.
Right.
And so, yes. So the first protocol I would tell you would be to talk to your teacher, right? Set up a meeting, set up an in-person meeting, this email back and forth. There's a lot that doesn't go into tone and things like that, right? And intent. So first thing I would do is talk to your teacher. If you've done that and you're still not getting an answer, then you can start moving up the chain of command. Okay. Then go to your principal.
Right.
And say, hey, I've done this. I'm still not getting an answer. I think we need to sit down as a team and see how we can best support all of us, right? How I can support you, keeping it positive. Because remember, we want to work with you. Our teachers don't want this divide. We want to work with you to help your students. And so if that's still not happening, right, then you want to go even higher. And that's to our zone superintendent or our district superintendent. And you can do that two ways. The traditional way has always been to kind of email us or email somebody, and we would move that email over. But once again, kudos to Dr. Hill. She has put in what's called this Let's Talk platform. And it's basically an online chat box that you can directly type in what you need, who you need to go to, and it cuts out that middleman. So it emails directly to the team that you need, and they can respond much quicker. And on top of that, we also are able to track that. And so the board then gets updates weekly. What were the biggest topics? What was the turnaround time for parents? What was the outcomes, if we can be told the outcomes, because student information and stuff like that. So, and that's something we can then go back on and say, hey, why wasn't this resolved for a week? Why wasn't that? And holding our superintendent and her staff and our teachers accountable. And I love that program. And so my newsletter last month had a whole big part on it, how to do it, the link, everything else. But you can just go to our website at cms.com and it'll pop right up as Let's Talk.
Okay, that's wonderful. So let's go into some questions that I have about being a board member and your decisions that you've made over the past 3 years. Do you feel like there have been any decisions that if you could have done over, or if you could have sat on it a little bit more, that you would have voted differently?
There are some things that I wish I would have looked at closer.
Yes. And
maybe I missed, because we get a list of consent items that are like sometimes 30 things long.
Right.
And, I'm human and I'm not perfect.
Right. None of us are.
None of us are, right. And on top of that, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm ADD autistic. Wow. And so finding stuff like that, legal contracts and stuff, can be a very struggle for me. And so I do miss stuff. And so there are some things that I would have liked to ask more questions on,
right.
Or dug a little deeper. But I truly feel that every decision that I made with teachers and students and our community in mind. And I continue to stand by those decisions.
Okay.
Making sure that our dollars are being put towards most students and not just a select few. That they could help the greatest amount. Support from the community. Making sure that all of these things are kind of aligned and that everybody is on the same page when what we're looking for.
You've consistently spoken about inclusive policy. What does that look like in action within our schools?
So I think we have the first part, right? Is putting into policy. We are one of the few districts in the state that has a multicultural policy. And that includes not just race, but includes religion. It includes hairstyles. It includes LGBTQ status. It is very, very inclusive to everybody. And I really stand on that. And I think the part that we need to, the other part of it is we have a no retaliation clause in policy for CMS. And so I think those together really set us up to have that inclusivity. Now, on the other end, it's the accountability piece, right? It's making sure that all of our teachers are living up to that. All of our principals are living up to that.
Right.
And so making sure that if there's something that's going on with that teachers have a way to express themselves without fear of retaliation, whether that's anonymous or something.
Yes.
Which is huge. And that is something that I truly have been able to help with. Is I've had multiple teachers and staff members from all over the county come to me and say, hey, here's the situation. I don't know how to handle this, right?
Right.
And so one of the things that we have done and that I've been very involved with is our Speak Up line, which is one for parents and we have one for teachers in our ER. And teachers can go in there and speak anonymously and get their questions answered without feeling that they're sacrificing anything.
Right. Because there's a culture there. You've created a culture where they are included and their job is not on the line because of something that they feel is not working for them. And I know I can say that I've seen some changes, with that. We know that no one is standing in a long line to be a teacher.
Right.
Okay. And you don't even have a long line for people who want to run for board. But what I do want to talk about is the retention, hiring teachers. CMS has come a long way because I used to be a teacher and I remember the benefits to being a teacher. It was an honorable position. It still is very honorable to me. But how do we bring the honor back?
That's a multi-level question, right?
Yes.
There are multiple things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
And partially that is the state. The state does not treat teachers as professionals. They have continued to take away funding over the last decade. They've continued to violate our own state Constitution by saying that everyone should have a fair and equitable education.
But yet don't do it.
Exactly. And they don't treat teachers as a professional. Right now, we do not have a budget. Teachers can't get the small raises that they're getting, which is pennies. Let's be real. It's barely called a raise, right?
Pennies.
Those small raises can't be held until they pass a budget. So our teachers are now in a standstill. When the last budget, teachers actually lost money because of inflation. So on that end, that's what we need to work on. We need to start holding the state and our state elected officials accountable for that. Their one job is to pass a budget. Right.
But you also have to hold people accountable too.
Absolutely.
Because at some point, you're going to have to vote for people who are going to look out for you.
Exactly. And that's why we want to be informed voters.
Right.
And that's the important part of it, is to be truly informed of who you're voting for, not just because one group says so and one group says not, or one person says so. You really should do your own on what is value to you.
And that is wonderful because that's the thing, being informed, knowing who you're voting for, knowing the facts, and then you can get what you're looking for versus you voting for some random person because they have a track record or they know your uncle and they've been in the family or, they got a good last name and then you don't reap the benefits.
They're independently wealthy?
Yes, they're independent. Yes. Yeah. They look rich, so let me go vote for them. That makes absolutely no sense to me.
A lot of people focus on money in elections, and that to me, that is something that I've been really trying to change the narrative, at least in my own election.
Right.
It's about people. It's about meeting people where they're at and bringing them along with you. Money doesn't do that. Money doesn't vote. You know, obviously there's a lot of background and our election system. I mean, I know I'm getting off topic here, but our election system is out of control. Spending $40,000, $50,000 on a school board race is ridiculous. And, you know, our city council races were going for $100,000. Like it's ridiculous when people are, including myself, trying to live paycheck to paycheck, and we're asking people to support us and to believe in us. And so while money is very important, you know, for literature and signs and reaching those voters that may not want to be engaged, it's the people that stand behind me. It's the people that say, we believe in what you're doing, that mean more to me than anything. And I truly believe that I've created that culture, at least in the people that I've, no matter what side of the aisle I'm. Because remember, this isn't about politics, it's about our students.
But we also have to take into consideration that education is a $1 billion industry. It brings power and influence. So even though it's a heart issue, okay, it is a very much powerful issue when we're talking about who will move the needle in education. Because what we're seeing is the needle moving up just a little bit in the state of North Carolina, but we should be ahead of the ballpark. I mean, of the ball game. We should be way ahead. And so it's important for people to know the facts, to know who you are, to know why you're running. And so this time I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell District 1 why they should vote for you.
I bring a unique perspective. I bring education, years of education experience. I bring policy work, and I bring the advocacy to fight for education. And so this is about our students, our people, and our families and our communities that deserve the best education that they can get. It is in our Constitution, it is in our laws, and it is the one thing that drives me. And so making sure that you are an informed voter, you understand what's going on in your district, and you are involved is something that I have taken a huge priority on. And so I am here for the kids. I am here for the teachers. I am here for the family. I am not here for the games, for the politics. And that is what I have done for the last 3 years. And that is what I will continue to do, is focus on what is very important to our community. And that is our students.
That is wonderful. And that is powerful. Thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us today on Voices of Resilience.
I appreciate that. Thank you.